Hello, everyone. I'm Jan Angel, your 26th District State Representative. Thank you for joining me today on Legislative Update. This week was the first cutoff for our 2012 session. The deadline was Tuesday at 5 p.m. By that time, bills had to have a hearing and be voted out of committee, or they likely are dead. I'm proud to say that 5 of my bills that I sponsored have been voted out of committee due to the short session and the speed in which legislation must move. Getting these bills out of committee validates the necessity of these new measures. With all the bills that I've sponsored this session, my goal has been to reform government, scaling back our expenses, and finding a sustainable budget solution is my aim. It's frustrating that we are now into February and we have yet to address the $1.5 billion spending gap. Instead, we've seen and heard about proposals to raise taxes on already struggling families, to pay for education and care for our most vulnerable citizens. I don't believe this is the right way to budget. We must fund the priorities first. I believe our priorities should be education, public safety, and services for our most vulnerable. There is some good news, however. The House Republicans' Fund Education First legislation, which is House Bill 2533, received a hearing and has bipartisan support. The Fund Education First concept was first introduced by the House Republicans in 2006, but this is the first year that it has received a public hearing in committee. This is great news for our schools. House Bill 2533 would require budget writers to craft a K-12 education budget and pass it before any other government program receives funding. This bill would take the politics out of our children's education and deliver assurance and peace of mind to our worried parents, teachers, and students. I believe that funding education first is what our Constitution requires of us, and I would pave that way to ensuring that our children get the education they deserve. If our Education First budget were to pass, it would be a model for the nation, and no other state yet has done this. However, I also realize that funding education isn't the only step that should be taken. In the McCleary versus the State of Washington, the courts have said fundamental reforms are needed for Washington to meet this constitutional obligation to its students. Pouring more money into an outmoded system will not succeed. Therefore, we introduced additional education measures. The proposals include giving school districts the flexibility to waive unfunded state mandates, implementing revised evaluation systems, and thereby speeding up how schools address underperformance, and adding personal development requirements for educators. I encourage you to call or email and testify anytime that you possibly can on these important policy changes. I also urge you to watch this legislation closely to see what happens. The outcome of these measures will affect our children and our future. It's been a pleasure to share with you a little bit about what's going in Olympia right now, and I'm hopeful that we will find a sustainable solution for the budget, and I'm optimistic that we will indeed fund education first this year. I want to thank you again for joining me today on Legislative Update. My phone number and email address are on the bottom of this screen. I always enjoy hearing from you. I'm State Representative Jan Angel.